everyone, it's me. Yeah, part 4 of the Meteor build. I have progressed a little, but what I'll do is everything that I've done I shall speak through and let you know if there's any issues. There wasn't really. So yeah, so without further ado, let's just turn the camera around and you can see what I've been up to. Have a look. So this is where we're at the moment. What I've done is I've put on that cover. It was alright. I mean, it's not perfect fit, but it's good enough. And what I've done is on this cover here, this one's going to be the one that's open, where you can see the engine inside. I've painted the insides like a silver, but I've darkened it off a bit, so you got a bit more of a contrast, so it's just not stark like aluminium. The wing roots, I managed to get them pretty much seamless now. It wasn't an effort, it wasn't too bad, but I'm happy with what I've got here. So really that's not much of a thing anymore. The tail itself, horizontal stabilizers and everything else that went on perfectly fine. Some good alignment, so they're nice and straight. Underneath I put the tank on, spray that with what you see aluminium, and that'll be masked off before we actually get onto the main painting stage. And really the last thing really I've been doing is putting the wheel sort of like housing on, and the wheel itself, the front wheel. I'll tell you what, it looks fragile, but let me tell you, it's not. It is really well engineered. It goes in and it fits. I put on the camera, I've got 3 cameras there all on the mount, and I've stuck that in and it's fine. Now hark your mind back, I think it was either the second video on here, when you're putting the actual main cockpit in, it is important that it is aligned properly, so follow the instructions. Now I said that because there are issues, or have been issues, with the actual nose. Now I follow the instructions down to the T and it is in the correct position. So when I put the nose on, what happens? It fits, and it fits nicely with a bit of a nudge, and that's it. There does look a bit of a contrast between the 2 plastics. Well, that one's been slightly primed, but this, honestly, look at the instructions, it does fit, and it does fit rather well. So the only thing I've got left to do now is to glue the nose on, but at the same time, if I can just get that off for a second, I've got to glue like a part of the undercarriage door onto this, and then I can fit the actual thing on. I didn't want to fit it on, you know, while I wasn't here, but I've been carrying on with other things as well. The fuel tanks, they've been glued together, they've been sanded down, ready to paint. The inside of the main canopy, which is going to be this part, is basically going to be there inside, and also the framing for the inside of the front of the canopy, that will go onto the underneath with it, and also the mounting of the gun sight, which I've put together, masked it off, and well, if we can just take that off, well, there you go. Well, you probably won't be able to see it properly, but it's there and it's rather nice and straight. So yeah, that's the gun sight done, so I'll put that over there. Other things, I've just taken like the undercarriage doors off, the exhaust nozzles, and everything else that really sort of like is from the outside, including the air brakes, which I'll be fitting those on shortly, probably in the open position, just to give it a bit more, you know, movement as it were. But apart from that, that's it. We're pretty much ready for paint then. So leave me to crack on with the nose and all the rest of it, and then we can start, well, painting the nose, and then priming and masking, all that kind of business. Okie dokie. So leave it with me. We'll be back in a sec. Right, my apologies, because it does look like a bomb's gone off. Right, so I've reprimed it, all with the Tamiya Sky Grey. So it's all nice, it's all smooth, it's all as I would like it. All the masking's done. I'll have to repaint the silver or the aluminium within the front undercarriage. it will be a lot easier because I can just mask it off and yeah, all around it and just go from there. So all we're going to do now is do what I normally do, is pre-shade, but also I'm going to be painting in the sort of like walk lines as well, which I will show you just on the paint schemes, which is basically all this lot here. So all I'll be doing is just painting them into the lines, then I'll be masking that up, but again I'll just be doing the old pre-shading and all the rest of it all the way over the actual kit, and anything else that's black that I can, and there's a stripe on the nose there, I can do that as well. So leave it with us and hopefully I can get this done in, well, not in quick time, but quick enough, and we can start putting on the main camouflage. And here we go. Right, first of all I started off with the PR blue or PRU blue, and do you know what a colour. It really is a nice colour, and it actually covered it quite well. I wouldn't say quite well because I did actually thin the paint down quite a lot. But initially what I do is, because I'm using Hataka on the orange line, which is the lacquer paints, I give it a quick dusting over first, just so the paint's got something to grab hold of, and then slowly but surely just add on different coats. Some are thicker, some are thinner. Sometimes I do it in little circles, and others I do in sort of like long lines, just to get the coverage that I really do need. But as you can see, just finishing off, again, really nice colour, and it went down flawlessly. Really impressed. And when it actually did dry, it was like proper silky smooth, and really that's what I'm after for when it actually comes down to the old decaling. So now that was the main airframe done, all I was doing now is just going on to the fuel tanks, and then basically going on to the outer side of the undercarriage doors. The inside being silver once I actually do get to it. But all I do is just stick them on cocktail sticks with a bit of blue tack, just so I know they're not going to go anywhere and I'm not going to get my grubby fingers all over it while the paint's still wet. And again, just a couple of quick coats over, back again, drying them off, and just putting on a thicker coat just to get all the bits and pieces I need, and just keeping a slight bit of the old pre-shading still coming through. So overall, not bad, really happy with that. Then we're going on to the main upper cam. Again, I'm using the Taka. This time I'm using the dark sea grey and the dark green. Now for this, I did go for the freehand. Mostly it is freehand, but as you'll see probably later on, you'll see the demarcation was a bit too soft. But anywho, all I was doing again is the same thing, just going through smaller, lighter coats, and then going into more of the thicker ones. I think overall there's about 4 or maybe 5 coats of paint going on each one, and each one very thin. And then on top of that, I put another 2 of a lighter shade of the base colours, so dark sea grey and dark green. And I just added a little, I think it was light aircraft grey, which is similar to sky grey, but it's not too stark, it's not too in your face, and it just settles down or lightens up the actual base colours rather nicely. Now I've gone on to the green, as I was quite happy with the coverage I've got with the dark sea grey, and barely just going into getting the old demarcation areas sorted out, so I know when it comes down to it I can actually go in a little bit more tighter. Now I did use some worms just on the outside of the demarcation, because I think really what was wrong with me today is I just wasn't feeling it. So as you can hear by my voice, it's going, so I'll just carry on. So again, all I was doing is just going over it, smaller coats, light coats, and then now I think I've just started going over it in the lighter shades. I put 5 drops into the colour cup, stirred it, blew it through, and then fired it up. And then a second time I put 6, maybe 7 drops of the lighter grey through the airbrush, blew it through, and then went on to the lighter shades, or a slight bleaching of the actual paintwork. So overall, although the light's catching it on there so you can't really see it too well, but in proper light it is going to look, well, it does look quite good. It's not overly done, it's not in your face, which I was really on for. So after that it's basically finish time and on to the decals, which should probably be on to the next part now. So I shall leave it with you there. Right, all the masking's off, and yeah, I'm happy with that. Basically all I've got to do is touch up, so a little bit of the old aluminium has come off, and I'm not 100% happy with this around here, so I've still got the PR blue on the pot there, so I can remask this and then do it. But also what I'm going to do now is simply just mask these up, do the undercarriage bays, and we'll go from there. Then hopefully we can actually start putting some decals on it. Or what I might do is get the undercarriage sorted out first, spray that silver along with these as well. So we'll see. So that is where we are at the moment, and hopefully I've explained everything within, the voiceover, as it were, for when I did the time lapse. Okie dokie. So let's see what we can do now. Right, what we'll do is, we'll do the decaling next. But just to let you know, just to show you, probably seen the stills anyway, which I'll put on. The undercarriage door, or the bays, they're all done. All to where I like and what I'm after. So the next thing really is to do the decaling. Now, I don't really show decaling because it can be quite boring. But what I'll do is I'll just show you what I do and what I use. So basically what I use is an office tray full of, you've got water in there, you've got a little part there where you just stick the decal in, and you've got the micro set, and you've got 2 soles there, and that's basically what I use to put the decals on. We'll use quite a thin pair of tweezers for there, and literally that's what I'll do, and I'll apply the decals. What I'll do is I'll show you in principle what I do for all my decals on the 2 roundels, which will be there on top of the wings. So what I'll do is let me put the camera back in its on its mount, and I'll show you what I do. Right, so literally I'm going to put both roundels straight into the water, face downwards, and once it's had a bit of a soak, I'll just bring them out and just leave them in the little tub there, just to get a bit more soaked in, really. I tend to start off with like a warm water, tepid water. It does seem to take the decal off the backing sheet a lot easier, a lot quicker. But I do know a guy, Steve Sutcliffe. Hello, Steve, if you're watching this. He's got one of these mug warmers, which he uses for decaling, so it keeps the water at a constant temperature, which I can only say that is a damn good idea, and it's good thinking. So I might actually invest in one of them because it's going to be a lot easier in the long run, I think. Now, I've just tried those 2 decals, and they've just literally been in, 30 seconds or so of me waffling, and they're loose on the backing paper already. I mean, well loose. So all I do is, you can use your finger, you can do whatever. I just wet my finger, damp it off, and just literally pop it on, slide it on, and that is it. So that's that first bit done. So next thing, I've got my instructions up on here. I've got my glasses on so I can see exactly what I'm doing, and I'm literally manoeuvring the roundel to the approximate area, which I think is just about there, a bit higher, and that's it. So now that's on, I'll get a cotton bud, and from one end to the other, I'm just literally just very gently, not putting any pressure on it, because as soon as you start putting pressure on it, that's when things start to move. And again, it's entrusting your tools or whatever you're using for the job. It's basically a trust thing. Just basically just use what you've got and use it well, and just let it do the job for you, because that's what you've got them for. So literally all I'm doing now is I'm just basically easing the water that was under the decal. I'm just easing it out. And slowly but surely I'm applying a little bit more pressure. Now I know this decal, or these decals, are rather good because there is a raised part there. You can see it. It's just there. And simply by me doing this, it's conformed around that raised bit so well. It looks nice. It really, really does. And also, the actual the recessed panel line, the actual decal is being slowly but surely slotted in there, and it's nice. It really is. It's settling real down really nice. So you've got that, or what you could do is just use some kitchen roll. Let's take that off, fold it up, but you do run the risk of actually moving the decal. So when you actually do it, let me just demonstrate on this one, just for argument's sake. I mean, you can pop it on there and just move it, and next thing you know, you've either made a fold in it, or you've actually moved it, and that's not something you really want. So if you are going to use a bit of tissue like this, just literally just pop it on nice and gently, and just pop it on and off, on and off, so it's actually soaking all the water in and around the decal, so you're less likely for it to move once you've got it to exactly where you want it to be. And that's what I do. Now I can do this without any issue now, because I know that 99% of the water is now gone from underneath the decal. Well, bloody hope so anyway. So what I do is a couple of things. First of all, I will put a bit of the old micro sole, is it? Yeah, sole. Put it on there first. Where's my paintbrush? And I've got a paintbrush specifically for decals and nothing else. So it's a nice clean brush. I'm going to pop it in. Ooh, pop it in, get a generous amount, but you don't want absolutely gallons of it on. And all you're going to do is just run it around the decal. Let it all seep in, and try, not I've done it, try and keep within the actual decal itself. And all you want to do is let that dry. Now maybe the first, maybe the second, it might not do anything, but believe you me, it will. It may even start to wrinkle. If it starts to wrinkle, leave it, and that's what it's supposed to do anyway. You may have a bit of a stroke, or your heart might go, but you think, oh God, what am I gonna do? No, just leave it be. Just leave it alone. Let the actual tool do the actual work for you. Okay, so let that soak in for a little bit. Let me reposition this decal, and I'll show you the next thing that I do to actually get these decals to bed down. Right, the first coat of the setting solution is nearly dry, but as you can see, you can just see where the panel line is if you just cut the light on it. Now some of it has started to melt and conform to the actual airframe itself, but this little bit here, I'm going to show you now. It's a bit well, it's a bit soon for me to do this, but I'm going to show you it anyway, just to see how I do the decaling and how I bed these decals down. Okay, so that's your first coat. Right, what I'll do next is this. Now you've got to be careful, but use a scalpel blade, a brand new one if you can. Alright, now this is what I'll do. No pressure on it, it's literally the weight of its own, well, own blade and the handle. And literally all I'm going to do is not do that, is to pinch. Let me just get that bit there. Just make a small little incision. And then find the panel line, which you can see. And gently score it with the blade. And I mean gently. So you've done it on that side. And you've done it with that side. Now what I'll do now is just put any of the decal that's come out back in. Then I'll get it again, and I've got another panel line going from front to back. Again, just using the weight of the blade. Nothing else, there's no pressure. That one's gone a lot better. Now, if you've got multiple panel lines, then fantastic. But what I'm going to do now, because I've only got the two, is use a riveter. Now, again, I'm not putting any pressure on this whatsoever. And all I'm doing is putting a load of rivets on top of the decal, not the paintwork. And this is all I'm going to do. Now, what this is going to do is the setting solution is going to get in these holes through the decal and underneath the decal, and basically dry and draw the actual decal into the actual airframe itself, or the wing. So again, no pressure, no nothing. Now what I'll do is, let me just see if this will actually, you can see all the little rivets in there. Now when I put the actual micro sole on there, yeah, it probably will come up really sort of like wrinkly, but it will go down. So load up the brush where the actual panel line is, get that in there first, and just very gently work your way around the actual decal. That's my tea ready, because I can hear the beeps in the cooker. And what we'll do is we'll just leave it like that, and right this second now you can see it's actually starting to wrinkle pretty badly along there. When I say pretty badly, that's what we want. Okay, so I'm going to have my chicken Kiev and salad, alright, and I'll be back in about 20 minutes. So I'll leave that to dry. See you in a bit. Right, and that's after the, well, what I've just done with the scouring, or the scoring as it were, or the decal. As you can see there, you've got the panel line still going all the way through, and it is now, well, it's not very good in this light, but you can see now it's sinking more onto the actual surface of the kit. So what I'm going to do now is just carry on doing what I did before, just applying some more microsol and just going from there. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is just start decaling the whole of the kit, and hopefully next time you'll see whatever, it will be decaled. So okay, catch you in a minute. Alright, I think that's about it for this video, because it's just going to be decaling for me now for the next few hours. Probably not be able to do any more filming for another couple of days or so. But I'm going to be kept busy because I've got a few stencils to put on. I'll do what I think is justified, as in the stencils, because as you know, I don't like stenciling. No, but anyway, who does? Anyway, right, we'll leave it there, and I'll catch you on the next video. So until then, take care, keep yourself safe, and yeah, happy modelling. Take it easy. Cheerio.